Ashtavakra uvāca kṛtākṛte dvandvāni kadā śāntāni kasya evaṃ jñātveha nirvedādbhava tyāgaparo'vratī. Ashtavakra said, "To whom does the conflicts of duties performed or not performed belong? To whom does the pairs of opposites belong? When do the two of the above ceases? To whom do they cease? Having thus fully enquired through complete indifference to the world, become passionless and be devoted to renunciation." This chapter is on the subject indifference. Chinmaya writes in the introduction to this chapter, Ashtavakra recommends a threefold effort in the realization of the seeker's real nature, Swarupa. The triple means for self-realization is constituted of indifference, nirveda, equanimity, samatha, and logical reasoning, yukti. Each one of these is reinforced by the other two. Without indifference and equanimity, logical reasoning is impossible. And indifference will not be dynamic without mental equanimity and intellectual reasoning. Equanimity, maintained by not allowing the mind to dance to the rhythm of its likes and dislikes, is an exercise for the mind. Unquote. Conflict of duties performed or not performed arises when one has a sense of doership. All pairs of opposites, pleasure and pain, good and bad, blame and praise, etc., arise when ego is there. Here, Ashtavakra prompts Janaka to ask within, the above conflict of the above mentioned notions of pairs of opposites were there for whom? God ended for whom? Ended when? The answer would be, the conflict of the pairs of opposites was for the jiva with ego. They ended for the sadhaka when the jiva sadhaka turned as seer. They ended when the ego got removed. So basically all these are there only for the jiva with ego. Ashtavakra says, you be totally indifferent to all these. Be absolutely passionless and detached to all the above. If anyone comes and praises you, be indifferent. If anyone comes and condemns you, criticizes you, be indifferent. If anyone offers to serve you, be indifferent. If anyone deserts you, be indifferent. If anyone gives you pain or tries to give you pleasure, be indifferent. In his commentary, Chinmaya defines this expression avrati, which comes at the end. Tyāgaparo'vratī. The term avrati is translated as passionless. Literally, the word means one who is no more observing the religious vows, vrata. These observances are generally undertaken for the fulfillment of some or the other worldly desire. Hence, the term in the mouth of Ashtavakra gathers a significant meaning as completely passionless. This expression, passionless, is a crown jewel, chudamani, expression to any other expression conveying or denoting detachment, vairagya, etc. Being detached only is not enough. One has to be passionless in his detachment. Otherwise, one will detach himself and still be haunted in his aloneness, as he has not left his passion totally towards the things or the persons from whom he thinks he has detached himself. As a sadhaka, you have to deliberately practice detachment, reduce your passion, and practice to be indifferent and passionless. And in the background of your detachment and reduced passion, you can start renouncing the world effectively. When you realize the self, however, the ego to whom the pairs of opposites came and attacked, that ego is not there, the perceiver is not there. So, the state of passionless detachment, indifference, renunciation, all are attained together at one go, not by stage, but at one go, at once. Now, the first line of this verse talks about duties performed or not performed. As jivas, we often get affected thinking of duties which we failed to undertake in the past, and we often lament over that towards our parents or towards our children like that. And also, on the other hand, we get too much attached to the duties which we are undertaking now, because the background of these duties which we are performing now is not moksha in the four purusharthas, but the background of the duties may be either artha or kama. Hence, Ashtavakra recommends that one should practice renunciation with detachment and without passion, knowing what duties need to be given up and what needs to be performed and in which circumstances, thereby cultivating the right attitude of self-restraint, indifference and equanimity. Yogis may renounce the world and householder duties, but they are not completely free. They still need to perform certain duties and live a responsible life as a part of their own self-purification. There is a verse, Chinmaya writes, from Mahopanishad, which translates like this: indifferent to duties performed and not performed, as laid out in the sacred texts, he remains in his pure self as an ocean stilled. Now let's talk about pairs of opposites. We talked about certain pair of opposites like the world praising you or blaming you, the world doing good to you or bad to you. The world of beings may contain anyone, nearer to you or anyone else. The world may be loving you or hating you. Like this, many other opposites can be listed. What happens when these opposites are thrown on you? Only when you have transcended your ego, you can be indifferent to all this. You can be absolutely passionless about any of these opposites. When you have renounced all this and are indifferent towards all these opposites, you exist passionless towards the world and its objects, and you abide in self. For example, at home or in the society, someone taunts you and says you are an egoist, you are a highly body conscious person, etc., etc. To whom this taunt is coming and who is giving this? For me, the self, does this have any relevance? If not, let them keep taunting like this if it gives them happiness. This way, I am passionless about what they think of me. I have renounced the expectation of any way anyone should think of me, and I am totally indifferent to whatever has been told about me. let us come to the opposite of it. Suppose few adore you or worship you. Again, this adoration or worship is for me, the self, or me, the BMI. If it is for me, my BMI, then I don't exist anymore with the BMI identity, and therefore I don't recognize all these adorations. If it is for me, the pure self, the self anyway cannot perceive any object of experience except God, and therefore I don't perceive this adoration as well. In both situations, I am indifferent, passionless. When I exist as pure self, even the whole chapter on indifference, all the expressions such as passionless, indifference, renouncing, etc. does not apply to me, as this would also come under pairs of opposites, passion or passionless, indifferent or conscious, renouncing or craving, whereas I am beyond the pairs of opposites, even beyond the last of the opposite to leave me, to have left me, which might have existed prior to my realization, and that pair of opposite is freedom or bondage. Aho. Hari Om. That's it.